All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Jill Rankin. I'm the Executive Director for the Wisconsin Institute for Healthy Aging, and I'm super excited to be welcoming you this morning to our Age Well series centered around nutrition and older adults, Revitalize and Thrive, essentials for older adults. So we have an exciting presentation for you today, but I want to introduce myself as well as our organization to give you a little bit of background about who we are and why we're bringing to you this health education topic. So, the Wisconsin Institute for Healthy Aging, we are a nonprofit organization in the state of Wisconsin. And our mission is to improve the health and well being of all people as they age. And we do this by disseminating evidence based programs and practices, as well as engaging in collaborative public health strategies and overall health education, not only in Wisconsin, but also beyond. We have many partners throughout the nation and throughout the state that are assisting in providing great health education information and programs to local communities. So we are extremely humbled and grateful to be partnering with so many different organizations throughout the state to provide excellent education. And really, our goal is to empower and equip you as you age to age healthfully and enjoy life to the fullest. So you can find more about our organization at the link here and on the screen, wihealthyaging.org. We do have an Age Well newsletter that has a lot of health education information in it that you may subscribe to if you're not already. So we encourage you to do that. It's about every other month or so. We provide some good health education topics centered around all things wellness and healthy aging, and happy to be bringing you those evidence-based and evidence-informed information and strategies. So without further ado, I am going to actually hand it over to our sponsor, who is going to tell us a little bit about their support and our exciting topic that we have today. So I'm going to hand it over to Samantha.
Sam. I'm a community partnership specialist with TMG. We're really excited to be supporting this Age Well program. I am just going to tell you a little bit about TMG, and then I'm going to let these ladies tell you all about all the great information they have. TMG is an iris consulting agency in the state of Wisconsin. We're a long-term care option in all 72 counties, supporting older adults and people with disabilities to remain independent in their own homes. So if you're interested in any more long-term care information, I'm going to put our brochure and my email in the chat, and you can feel free to reach out to me. But I don't want to take any more time away from Jill and Pam, and I know they have a lot of great information to share today. So I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
Great. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for your support. And we're really excited to be partnering with TMG and Molina Cares to bring you this awesome information. So with that, I am going to introduce our lovely speaker, Pam Van Kampen. I've been working with Pam for many, many years, and she is a wealth of knowledge and information and pure joy when it comes to nutrition, education, and older adults. So Pam, we will hand it over to you as our registered dietitian expert and healthy aging expert. Thank you.
Thank you. I am so delighted to be here. I'm just trying to share my screen really quick. Thank you, Sam, for sponsoring us. Thank you, Jill, for the opportunity to be with you today. And and thank you all for joining. I'm thrilled to see so many people registered for this. Jill, just checking in. Can you see my slide?
I cannot. No.
Oh, okay, just one second.
Sure.
Okay, let's try this again. Let's do share screen, share.
There.
Okay, now let's try this again.
Yes, it is loading. You're good.
Okay, so now we can see it?
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have a lot to go through. Nutrition is such a complicated and complex topic, but also so exciting. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist. I've been doing this for 37 years, and I still love it and I'm passionate about it. So thank you again for joining. So we're going to talk about Nourish steps. Take a Nourish step with me is something that just came to me, and I'm so thankful it's a way to frame nutrition, and we're going to walk through this in the next few minutes. So, as you know, food is energy, it's fuel for our bodies. Food is love and memories and emotion. Food is health. Food is healing. Food's delicious and can be stressful and can be guilty and shaming if we eat something we shouldn't eat. It's so easy to access in our country, and it's so processed many times in our country. So the information you get about new food and nutrition can be so confusing. And I want to help walk you through this journey and make it simpler, easier to understand, take away that negative energy that's tied with it, and focus on the positive aspects of food, and frame it in a way that's practical and that enriches your life. So Nourish Steps was created for these 6 reasons. Like I said, nutrition can be complicated and confusing. I wanted to have simple, easy to remember, practical and positive key points that hopefully become a mindset for you. It's a gateway for more information. I couldn't possibly give you all the nutrition information, but we have a website that I'll show in a moment. And on that website, there's so much more information that you can take a deeper dive into nutrition. And there's hyperlinks. And so, like I said, this is a gateway. We're going to focus on 7 key principles that make up the word nourish that will build a strong nutrition foundation for you to build from. And these are also conversation starters. I would love it if you talk to people about the Nourish stuff that you're taking and say, hey, did you know? Because you're going to get a lot of information. And I want you to pass that information on to others and use it to spark conversations. And I think that the best that we can do every day is to take a Nourish step and not get in our head so much about, oh, I need to eat this or that, or I need to follow this certain way of eating. Just every day, if we can take one positive Nourish step, that's a win. So this is the initiative. It's housed at gwar.org/Nourish Step. And it's called Take a Nourish Step. So the 7 elements are nutrient-rich foods that I want you to focus on color and variety and eating seasonally and not get so tied down with, oh, what exact nutrient or phytonutrient or chemical is in that. Just think about eating color, eating variety. Omega-3 fatty acids and other healthy fats for our heart, mind, and body. I want you to understand how food fuels and affects us. Food is the biggest drug that we put into our body, and we don't even understand that. We don't understand how it works in our body. And so this initiative was created to help us understand that as well. I want to provide you with, yes.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt, but we're seeing some black boxes on your screen at the top and on the right-hand side.
Oh, so just say, okay, maybe.
Yes. You might just have to move them out of the way.
Okay, so let's see. How do I move them out of the way? Let me
Or
just sneak
minimize.
like that. And then maybe sneak this over. Sneak this down. Is that better?
Still seeing the one at the top and then the one at the
There.
bottom. Now it's covering
That's
the
good.
closed captioning for me.
Oh,
I don't know
now
if you can move it to the.
It's good for me.
is it moving like all I can seem to do is move it
Good for me. I can
Okay.
see.
sideways. So you all don't see it? Maybe Jill and
Do that.
now
that
it's
put it
back.
at them.
Oh,
This is bad.
it moved back, but now the captions are blocked out. So I don't know if that is affecting anything.
Oh,
There. Oh,
Nope, now
how
you
do
got
I,
a black
here.
thing on the bottom.
Is
There we
that
go.
better?
That's better. And then there's that
No.
one still in there. So if you can move the other one down too, that'd be great.
Like, I don't know if I can move it all the way down. Maybe here? Is that better? Kind of
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
the
Okay.
Perfect.
captions?
perfect.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Cornerstone Community, okay, thank you. We still have the block over half of the words, the closed
Oh.
captioning.
Okay, let me see if I can move
Fine.
this other one.
Mine is fine.
Ooh, this is good. That's good.
Okay,
This
now we
good?
can see both sentences, yes.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
My apologies. My apologies. And it is being recorded so we can look back, but thank you for helping me get this more accessible. So, all right, now let's see if I can see. Okay, so now I can move my screen this way. Oh, wait, I was still using this. So, and then simple recipes and meal ideas for you all to use that are practical and a lot of times for 1 or 2 people. It's really important that we increase our protein and fiber, so we're going to talk about that, and that's important for muscle health, gut health, and blood sugar control. And we're going to become more sugar and sodium aware. We don't want to vilify any food, but I want you to be aware of how it affects your body and your mind. And hydrate, of course, because we want to all look, think, and feel great. And so hydration is just key to that. Okay. And as I said, I do believe food is the biggest drug we put into our bodies, and we don't think of that sometimes. So, as you make changes, or maybe you have already experienced this yourself, you've made changes to your diet that are powerful, that have caused you to be able to decrease the amount of medicine that you're taking, or maybe get off of a medicine altogether, or lower the dose. So, it's important that you communicate any dietary changes to your healthcare provider so that they can be monitoring your labs and then make those adjustments to the medicine if needed. So I just wanted to remind you all of that. All right. Like I said, we're going to be doing like a tasting of a lot of nutrition information. And so I do invite you to submit your questions. Jill's going to put in the link in chat where you can also submit them. But here's a QR code that you could scan. And as you have questions during the presentation, if we don't have time to get to them and or after the presentation, if you think of something that you'd like to ask, please use the link or the QR code to send those to me. And those will actually help us shape our whole initiative that we're shaping around Nourish Steps over the next 3 years. And the first month of information will be available in January of 2025 on our website. And so thank you for your questions. This is a tool that you'll be getting after the presentation. It's just an action plan to help you operationalize or implement the Nourish steps that you want to take. It's absolutely based on a lot of the other evidence-based classes that you may have taken. So you may be familiar with this outline. There's nothing you have to do with it now, but maybe I'm hoping there's at least one thing that you glean onto during the presentation and maybe jot that down. And at the end, I'll show you how to put it into an action plan. All right. So let's start taking a deeper dive into the first N, the nutrient-rich foods. And like I said, it's really important for us to eat that rainbow of color and to try to eat foods in the most whole state as we can, the least processed. And so what is a nutrient-rich food? A nutrient-rich or nutrient-dense food is something that is has little or no processing, little or no added saturated fat or sodium. So mainly it's like your fruits, vegetables, whole grains, fish, seafood, eggs, beans, peas, lentils, nuts, seeds, fat-free and low-fat dairy products or dairy products. There's different views on the fat content of dairy products and trees. And so just remember, try to eat color, try to eat variety, eat seasonally, and know that food gives you energy in the form of calories. But I'm not going to focus so much on calories because eating disorders are a thing. I have eating disorder mindset for many, many, many years. And I think as long as we focus on nourishing our body and our cells are going to be nourished, and we're not going to be having the cravings that we would have if we're not focusing on eating the nutrients. So I'm not going to hyper focus on calories, but I will tell you, as we get older, we need less calories in general and more nutrients. So that's why it's really important that we focus on trying to get as much nutrition in each bite, because we also tend to have smaller appetites as we age. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. That's just a overview of what I said. I should have moved my slide ahead. So people always ask me, what are vitamins? What are minerals? What are essential nutrients? Just in general, know that vitamins are important. They're needed in our body to help us use the food that we eat, and our bodies can't make enough of them, so we have to get them from the foods we eat. There's 13 essential vitamins that definitely we don't get enough of from the food, from our bodies making them on their own. And they're listed here. I'm not going to go into each one, but there's a link at the bottom here where you can get a lot more information. And this link will be available for you after the presentation. And then in general, minerals are things like iodine, zinc, fluoride, calcium, magnesium, and potassium. And also they're needed for our body to function. And they come from the earth, and then the earth imparts those into the foods that we eat. So you might have heard things about different amounts of iodine, for example, being in different parts of the world. In the US, we need iodine because our soil tends to be depleted in it. So that's why we have iodized salt, so we don't get goiters. These are the nutrients of concern for older adults. I'll take a little time on these. Calcium, as you know, and vitamin D are needed for your bone health. People always ask me, do I need to take a calcium supplement? Maybe. It depends how much calcium you're drinking throughout the day or eating in fortified foods. It's important to have 500 milligrams at a time. No more than that, because your body only absorbs that much at a time. And then people ask me calcium carbonate or calcium citrate, and just know carbonate is better taken with food. You can usually take a smaller amount. Citrate doesn't have to be taken with food, but sometimes you have to take a higher amount. But sometimes older adults tend to absorb calcium citrate a little bit better. And also, if you have any GI issues, citrate might be better. But again, talk to your healthcare provider. Vitamin D, in general, we need a minimum of 800 IUs, and you might need up much more than that. And so what I always tell people is to talk to your doctor to get your vitamin D level checked. The test is called a 25 hydroxy vitamin D. 25 hydroxy vitamin D. That will tell your doctor and yourself how much vitamin D you have available in your body. And they will know then how much to supplement if you need the supplement. In general, I take 1,000 IUs every day of vitamin D, but for sure talk to your healthcare provider. Potassium, magnesium, vitamin B12, especially vitamin B12 if you don't eat animal products or meat. That's mainly where vitamin B12 is found. And as we age, our bodies are less able to glean that B12 off of the meat and the animal products. So you may need a supplement. Again, your doctors will probably check your B12 levels. And then protein, fiber, and sodium and potassium, I'll be talking about throughout the presentation. Okay. This, I just want to make you aware of this website. It's called the Office of Dietary Supplements, and there's a vitamin and mineral supplement fact sheet for everything, and it's research-based and science-based. So if you're getting confused on what should I take a supplement, how much, go to the Office of Dietary Supplements. They have a page for vitamins and minerals, and they also have a page for dietary supplements. And there's definitely consumer fact sheets or professional fact sheets, depending on what level you want to understand. But these are both a wealth of information, again, to help you take that deeper dive into the nourish step that you want to take. So just resources for you to be aware of. So how can we add nutrients to our food? Well, I'm always doing this to our family. So I always add in fruits and vegetables to whatever, to a soup, to a salad, to lasagna, add in that spinach, add in shredded carrots, just sneak them in lots of places. Think about whatever thing that you normally eat. Maybe you eat an egg sandwich. Think about, can I add a slice of tomato and some spinach to that? Just think about, how can I add fruits and vegetables to whatever I'm already eating? I actually just put a spinach on my plate and put whatever I'm eating on top of that spinach. And I just have that as my base. And that's my way I sneak in spinach every day. I always shred things. I'm always shredding up carrots. Like I added this to the ricotta for the lasagna, but you can shred up carrots and put it in meatloaf. You can put it in anything that you're making. Same with, zucchini, beets, any kind of thing that you can shred it up, put it in your breads, your muffins, your cakes, your salads, anything. If you want to, you can saute them for 5 minutes before you add them to your spaghetti sauce, but you don't have to. But remember to use your shredder. It's a great way to sneak in vegetables, and they tend to break down so people won't even know they're there, but you'll be upping the nutrient content significantly. This is just a sample of a recipe from foodhero.org. It's one of my favorite websites, and they have a section on recipes designed for 1 or 2 people. So this is a veggie omelet in a mug, where you just put your eggs and whatever vegetables that you have and just boom them up like my mom would say, microwave them, and it's simple and practical, and they have all sorts of recipes like that for you. So I hope you visit that website. And then think about veggies for breakfast. In England, they eat baked beans on toast. Feel free to try that if you like. Full disclosure, my husband works for Bush Beans. So if you enjoy them, thank you. You certainly don't have to eat them. But I think they're a great way to add protein and fiber and other nutrients to all your meals. You can make a veggie smoothie or anything like that. So that's like the nutrient part, the N. Just think about, how can I sneak in fruits and veggies and nuts and seeds to whatever I'm eating. The next thing we're going to talk about is our omega-3s and our healthy fats. And, people a lot of times vilified fats, but those are the saturated fats. Those are the trans fats. These are healthy fats that our body actually needs to absorb some of the vitamins, because we have 4 vitamins that are fat soluble. And your body needs fat to help with satiety too, so that you're feeling full. So fats support our heart, our brain, our skin, and our joint health. They prevent age-related vision changes. So just remember that you can find the healthy fats in nuts and seeds and avocados, plant oils, fish. Use your olive oil instead of butter. Maybe that would be your Nourish step. I'm going to 3 times this week replace butter or margarine with olive oil in my cooking. And then as you take those Nourish steps and hopefully feel better and your labs improve, you continue to take more Nourish steps. We have a lot more information here on the website. When you click on the icon that looks like Nourish Steps, you'll get all of this information, and then you can keep taking Nourish Steps by clicking on these other resources. Excuse me. I have a little bit more information here on omega-3s. People are always wondering, where the heck do you find them? Well, they're in salmon and mackerel and sardines and herring and anchovies. Some of those things are higher in sodium, so if you need to limit your sodium, please be aware of that. They're also in flaxseed and flax oil. Don't forget about chia seeds. These little guys are champs. They're just little tiny black seeds, but they are high in protein and fiber and omega-3s, and they're just, you can add them to hot or cold things. Just know that you probably want to let the food that you add them to set for a moment, because they kind of expand. And since they are high in fiber, make sure you up your water intake as well, because the more fiber you eat, the more water you need to drink. Walnuts and nut trees, fortified foods like omega-3 enriched eggs, I'm not going to vilify eggs either. I think eggs are a great thing for folks to eat. We used to say only eat this many a week. You know, if you're worried about cholesterol, then don't eat the yolk. Maybe give it to your dog. But you do need a couple yolks a week. That's where the lutein is for your eyes. Otherwise, all the protein is in the white. So you can do like 3 egg whites and 1 whole egg to give it a little color. But like I said, they're really important for your heart and your brain health. And they can help reduce your triglyceride levels, which tend to be high in us because we eat too much sugar. So omega-3s can help counter that. People ask me often about EPA and DHA and omega-3 fatty acids. So if you want to take a supplement, there's just, I have another slide, but just know that we should have no more than 5,000 milligrams a day. Know that fish oil can also thin your blood. So if you're on blood thinners, or if you want to take fish oil, talk to your healthcare provider. But if you do take a supplement, look for one that has a combination of EPA and DHA because they both work together. Here's where you can find the omega-3s in a variety of fish. And, you know, the goal, at least 2 servings of fatty fish per week. And that's a 3-ounce serving, which is about the palm of your hand, is about 3 ounces. Mackerel is the highest, but then salmon, sardines, and herrings, anchovies, tuna, rainbow trout, all are about 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams. So if you eat those 2 to 3 times a week, that's great. But if you want to even do more with fish oil, supplements, like I said, I would talk to your doctor about that. And then look for the EPA and the DHA levels on the back. And also don't forget to check the dose, because sometimes it will say you need to take 4 pills to get this amount of EPA and DHA. So make sure you read the dosing size on there as well, because I've been tricked by that before. Okay, so that's the omega-3s. The understand part, I just want people to really understand that our bodies aren't a laundry chute, that everything that we take in is used for better or for worse. And this and the links on this page and the additional nutrition ed that we're going to be creating around understand, I think is really critical, because I think this piece is missing in our nutrition messaging in general, that we're not understanding fully what happens once that food goes into our body. So there's a couple of video links on here that do a really nice job of explaining like how HDL and LDL cholesterol work, and what's soluble fiber and what's insoluble fiber. I'll just take a moment to say insoluble fiber mainly remains intact when it moves through our GI system. So that, you know, pulls in the water, forms bulk, helps us be regular. So that's a good thing. But soluble fiber is also a good thing. It absorbs, like if you've ever taken like a Metamucil product, you know, it gets real thick, real quick. And so if you don't drink it, it's like a fiber milkshake. But that absorbs water and into a gel, and that helps you like feel full longer. It normalizes your blood sugar. So if you have diabetes, fiber is important, as well as protein. It helps bind cholesterol and takes it out of your body. So if you have high cholesterol, make sure you're eating a lot of foods with soluble fiber as well. And they can be found in beans and legumes, vegetables, whole grains, and seeds. But on this next slide, here's a list of foods that contain both soluble and insoluble fiber. So, you know, when your doctor, or that saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, absolutely. Apple, the flesh, contains the soluble fiber, the pectin, and the skin has the insoluble fiber. So all of these foods contain both. So I'd encourage you to pepper these into your diet regularly throughout the week. And again, you'll have this list of foods that you can really dive into. But it's so lovely to know that so many foods have both soluble and insoluble fiber. Did you know that there's 40 nutrients and more than 12,000 phytonutrients in foods that our body and brain can't make by themselves, but they are needed to function in tip-top shape? So again, I'm not going to hyper focus on that, but the point is eat a variety of foods. You know, some people will say eat 20, 30 different foods a week for good gut health. You know, that's why using seeds, you know, maybe you'll add in chia seeds or flax seeds or sesame seeds or sunflower seeds, any kind of different foods that you can eat throughout the week help you with your gut health, your brain health, and your overall nutrition. And it's so true. What you eat determines if you're happy or sad or energetic or lethargic. You know, think about when you ate too much after a heavy meal. How do you feel? If you ate a certain food, maybe an apple, you feel really good and energized. Or if you ate too much sugar, you might be really tired and feel yucky. It's because those foods are affecting us when we eat them. So just be aware. And just, you are what you eat is a true statement. Our cell membranes are made up of fats and proteins that are from like salmon and nuts. Iron in our blood comes from red meat and black beans and cooking in iron skillet. Um, the energy that our brain uses comes from carbs. So don't vilify carbs. Just be aware of what you're putting on the carb. You know, like when you're eating the potato, maybe just put salsa on the potato or some veggies on the potato and not sour cream and butter. It's so much. If you want to put a little, that's okay. Just watch the amounts. And then the B vitamins too that come from milk and whole grains are important for our energy health. Three things: berry, beans, leafy greens are something that's part of the mind diet. Berries, beans, leafy greens. You can skip when you say it if you want. But it will help you remember that berries, beans, leafy greens, those will help you. And I try to incorporate those every day. And they are definitely a foundational piece of the mind diet because none of us want to have our cognition decline. Also, when you visit our website, we'll talk about different eating patterns. We don't talk about diets. It's a 4-letter word, diet. And my mama told me don't use 4-letter words. So we talk about healthy eating patterns. And you can learn more all about those at this link through the NIH, National Institute of Health. You've also maybe heard of the DASH diet. So there's a link to learn more about that. And then if you have diabetes, there's a diabetes food hub with lots of recipes that you might not be aware of. So please make sure you visit that as well. Okay. And then I have to just talk briefly about gut health because everyone wants to know about gut health, and your gut brain connection is a real thing. And more research is coming out about this. So just in general, prebiotics contain the type of fiber that reach the colon intact, where they're fermented, and then they feed your good bacteria, which are your probiotics. So think of prebiotics as your fish food, if you will. So there, all of these foods listed on the left, like your banana, the greener, the better. The more green, it has higher amounts of prebiotics. The riper it is, lower amounts of prebiotics. But you see, beans are over there. You'll see garlic and onions and honey and oats. So try to incorporate those into your diet. And then the probiotics grow our good gut bacteria. I'll let you read the list for a moment while I hydrate to think straight. Our probiotics are like our kefir or kefir, how we say it. It's fermented milk. I'm not saying you have to drink that. You can eat yogurt, kombucha, tempeh. These are things that, the refrigerated sauerkraut has the probiotics, not the one in the can. That's still good for you on other levels, but if you're looking for the probiotics, look for the one in the refrigerated section because it hasn't been heated. Heat does affect those probiotics. And even if you just have 1 to 2 tablespoons of that sauerkraut a day, sometimes my grandkids are like, Grandma, what are you eating? And they love sauerkraut, by the way. I'm just like, oh, I got to have my sauerkraut. You know, you have to have a couple of spoons a day to keep the doctor away. I'm a little bit of a dork, but that's okay. They love me. So that's on the understand piece. And then the recipes and the meal ideas, these websites specifically down here, foodhero.org that I talked about before, they have recipes. You can search them by food or for 1 or 2 people. My Plate Kitchen, if you haven't checked out that, is excellent. It also has recipes for 1 or 2, and they have a lot of videos too, and they're short, and they show you how to make things, and they have seasonal recipes, and it's a great website. So there's lots of simple recipe and meal ideas there. And then there's a handout. Oh, here are the 2. So this is what it looks like. Food Hero. You'll have cooking for 1 or 2. They have these simple recipes, practical, not super expensive. And then this is My Plate Kitchen, where, like I said, they feature those seasonal foods. But then they have all sorts of other recipes that you can dig into. But like I said, it's nice to eat seasonally. So those are great websites. Also, coming up here on the protein list, you're going to get a handout that has 2 pages of breakfast, lunch, and dinner ideas that have protein throughout the day. So they'll have about 25 to 30 grams of protein for each meal. They'll give you an idea of those. And the reason why protein and fiber are so important, especially as we age, is that our body is just not as efficient as utilizing protein as it was when we were younger. And we need to kind of almost overdose it a little bit to kick it to say, hey, synthesize this protein into some muscle. So we're trying to make sure that we have 20 to 30 grams of protein at each meal. That's a big key takeaway for today. The stats are, oh, I think I have a slide with some of the stats. Maybe I'll show. Roughly 50% of women and 30% of men older than 71 fall short on their recommended protein intake for the day. I'm going to pop back over here. But there's another stat that show like 91% of us, just in general, tend to eat protein at 1 meal. And we need that 20 to 30 grams of protein 3 times a day, and even some protein at our snacks. So these 2 pages will give you ideas on how to incorporate that. You know, like your ant on a log that you used to make, you know, that has your celery, your peanut butter for your protein, and then your raisins for your potassium and some fiber, and your prebiotics. So ant on a log, simple to make, really good for you. So even if that's your Nourish step, you're going to eat on ant on a log every day, then carry on, as my mom would have said. So protein, you can sprinkle seeds into, like I always eat tomato basil soup for lunch. And then it's not super high in protein, but I add some walnuts. I always add beans. And then I add some feta cheese and some pepita or pumpkin seeds. And so that ups my protein intake for that soup. And it takes me 2 minutes to heat it up. And it's so filling and delicious. Okay, so again, protein is needed for our bone and our muscle mass, and it can help us decrease our risk of falls. It keeps our immune system healthy. We don't think of that, but it does. It has amino acids in it. It helps prevent cognitive decline. It can fight off infections and illness and aid in healing and recovery. So especially important if you have a planned surgery coming up, or as we're entering into the season season of, sickness, make sure that you're eating your protein throughout the day. The caveat is if you are not on dialysis yet and your pre-dialysis have some kidney issues, then you may need to lower your protein intake because it is hard on your kidneys. So talk to your doctor if you are in that situation about how much protein you should eat those 3 times a day. And then, like I said, since it is a little bit harder on our kidneys, make sure we're getting enough hydration as well. This is kind of an idea of the handout that you'll get after the call today. And like I said, it just breaks down different ideas for you to have at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I tried to just put the total amount of protein for each one of those meals. So that's breakfast. Here's some lunch ideas. And then here's some dinner ideas and snack ideas. So take a look at that handout when you get it. And I hope it's helpful. This is my dorky saying, but I love it. Protein throughout the day helps your muscles stay. So again, you can kind of march or skip when you say that as too. If you have a hard time eating like meat, you can grind it up or eat softer meats or fish or that Greek yogurt. If you think you don't like Greek yogurt, I challenge you to try a different brand. All the brands taste different. So we did a blind taste testing. If you have a Stepping Up nutrition class in your area, part of that class is like a taste testing. And often we taste test Greek yogurt. And it's so funny, they all taste different. So maybe try one until you find one you like, or get a group of you together and do like a Greek yogurt tasting party so that you don't waste money, because hopefully one of you would like one of them and take it home. And then you can also, like I said, sneak protein into other things. This is high protein, high calorie milk. You take whole milk, half and half, and then some dry milk powder, mix that all together, and that will make 1 cup. And then you can use that in your puddings or your cream soups or just drink it. So you'll have that recipe. And then whey protein, some people like to use protein powder. And if you want to do that, that's fine. I'm not saying you have to, because I think you can get enough protein from food. But if you want to use whey protein, 1 tablespoon has 5 grams of protein. It's easiest to digest. It's rich in leucine, which also helps make the protein synthesis be more effective than soy or casein protein. You stir it into hot cereals or creamy soups. You can put it in guacamole or salad dressings, maybe a creamy salad dressing. And then you can also add it to dry flour to enrich your muffins or your pancakes or whatever you're making flour with, or skim milk, or blend it into your nut or seed butters. Just stir it in. And then or Greek yogurt stirred into those is really good to use like as a dip. You just stir nut butter, seed butter into some Greek yogurt. And that's an easy way to like have a little apple dip. Okay, and then how much fiber do you need during the day? 35 grams a day is recommended. Most of us don't get that. So just strive to up your fiber intake every day. It helps keep you regular. It helps manage your blood sugar. It can help prevent cancer. And again, it comes from all the foods that I've been talking about already today. This is a great, well, I got this at Aldi. I guess I'm not really promoting a certain product, but if you haven't tried like the chickpea or the bean pastas, they're great. The only ingredients in this is chickpeas. However, the protein is 19 grams of protein in 1 cup and 11 grams of fiber. So this is a great way, as well as our normal beans. But if you don't like the texture of beans, some people don't, then you can either try them roasted. There's a lot of roasted chickpeas out there, or try the bean grains instead of your other pastas as your little Nourish stuff that you're going to take. And I said chia seeds, sneak those into anything. They kind of blow up like in this picture. They'll just kind of get bigger, but they really help you feel full. So even if your Nourish step is to try to cut down on your calories and maybe lose a couple pounds, the chia seeds will help you do that because they do kind of expand even further. once you eat them, and they do help you feel full. And there's not very many calories in them. There's no sodium, no sugar, and no cholesterol. So beans have protein, fiber, and they're high in potassium. Some great recipe resources are cannedbeans.org and thebeaninstitute.com. And I won't spend a lot more time on this. So let's practice taking a Nourish step. So since fall is here and pumpkin pie is amazing, how we can Nourish step that pumpkin pie is, okay, first, maybe I won't eat the crust. If I don't eat the crust, then I don't have any of that fat or lard. So that will save some saturated fat and some calories for me. That's my first Nourish step. My next Nourish step is when I make the pumpkin pie, I'm going to cut down on the amount of sugar by 1/3 in the recipe. And then my next Nourish step is, okay, I'm not even going to eat the pumpkin pie. I'm going to take just my pumpkin puree, not just a plain pumpkin, and that only has 40 calories, by the way, in it. And it's got 3 grams of fiber. That's for 1/2 cup. And I'm going to stir that into Greek yogurt. And to get that flavor, that smell of pumpkin pie, I'm going to put pumpkin pie spice and cinnamon on top of that yogurt and stir it in. And if I want that little crunch from the crust, I can add pepitas, which are pumpkin seeds, or crushed nuts. And then I get my omega-3s in there as well. So I took my pumpkin pie and I Nourish stepped it down to Greek yogurt with pumpkin puree that's really high in protein, low in calories, and it's really nutrient dense. So it's an example of how you can do a Nourish step. And the sugar and sodium awareness. Again, the biggest thing here is, again, I'm not trying to vilify things. I'm just saying be aware of what sugar and sodium do to your body. The biggest thing that sugar does to me is inflammation. It causes my brain to not think clearly. It causes my joints and my arthritis to get real inflamed and sore. So just try to be aware. And if you notice that is happening in you, cut down on the sugar to see if it improves. And the goal is to have no more than 30 to 50 grams of added sugar a day. I'll get back to that slide in a second. The new food labels make it easy for you to add that up because they now list the amount of added sugars. So I really encourage you to read that food label and look for how much added sugar is in foods. This slide I'm not going to spend time on, but you notice sugar is here, refined carbs. I'm going to get a shirt that says it's an inflammation situation, our whole American diet. And if we can cut down on these foods that are causing inflammation in our body, there's a lady who was 107 and she said she doesn't eat pop or any sugar. So it could lead to a longer life, but I know it will lead to a better quality of life. And there's a lot more information that you can dive into on our website about sugar. Let's see. And artificial sweeteners aren't necessarily the answer either. They have their own set of baggage with them. So I just encourage us to kind of get used to less sugar in general, because your body will get used to the less sugar. And then when you come back to it, you'll say, oh, that's super sweet. So it just takes you a while to step down, but just start a little at a time, and your body will get used to that less sugar. And here's another one of my sayings. Instead of sweet, think about adding heat. Because sometimes I'm thinking, oh, this recipe needs a little sweetness, but really maybe it needs a little heat or it needs a little acid. Chef Lori, who I work with, she said maybe add vinegar. And the vinegar, there's all sorts of vinegars, can help you with that. That it needs that little something. It might just need the acid. And then you detect 80% of the flavor through your nose. So what you might be craving is just, like I said, the smells, the spices. So just sprinkle those onto yogurt or onto your other foods, and they might take away that craving for sweet. There's my saying, before you add sweet, add some heat. Of course, add some other herbs and seasonings, and you all know about that. I'm not going to talk about that, Dark chocolate, if you're a chocolate person, try to transition to darker chocolate. You'll see that instead of eating the whole candy bar and not feeling satisfied when you get done, just having one chunk of really dark chocolate. And again, you can step your way up from like 60 to 70 to 80% to 90% dark chocolate, and then transition maybe from cocoa powder to cacao powder. And maybe you can step from like a double fudge brownie to a brownie with just a little powdered sugar on it. And then maybe you can step all the way down to like a 3-ingredient brownie that just has mashed bananas, cacao powder, and nut butter. I encourage you to try that. And then my last point is hydrate. Hydration is so critical for us to think, feel, and look great.
Please try again.
Okay, sorry. So to look, think, and feel great. So if you want better skin, if you want to have less wrinkles, even just for the vanity of it all, drink your water, people. But it will help us feel better. We will be able to think better. If you're a little foggy, or if people are like, oh, he or she's getting a little dementia, it could be that we're chronically dehydrated. And that is a problem for us as we age. We tend not to drink as much water for various reasons. So remember, water is needed for our body and our brain. And so hydrate throughout the day. And so there's some tips here for that. Your brain's 85% water. It can't store water. So you have to drink it throughout the day. And that's my saying, hydrate to think straight. And some people add, fruits and vegetables to their water. Feel free if you don't like the plain flavor, if you like sparkly waters, whatever. Just hydrate throughout the day. And yeah, this will just be in your thing. And then my last point will be to think about an apple a day. So if you're thinking about, okay, my first Nourish steps, I'm going to add an apple every day. So that's your nutrient dense food. It also helps you have more fiber. And that is like the understand part. Like, I'm feeling better. I feel more energetic. And then you'll be like, I'm bored with this apple every day. What are new ways I can enjoy it? So then you go to the recipe part and find a lovely recipe for a baked apple. And then you're like, hey, but this recipe has some sugar in it and sodium. So then maybe cut down on the sugar in that recipe, or maybe you want to add some nuts to it, and that's your omega-3s. And then it also is your protein. And then apple by itself has hydration in it, but then think, I'm going to have a delicious, a refreshing glass of water with my apple every day. So that just helps you like kind of march through it. And then soon you'll be doing this little Nourish dance.
I want to see that, Karen.
Yeah.
Oh, so thank you. I think I'm right where I need to be with time. This is example, like I said, of what that Nourish step could be that I kind of talked about earlier, how you would fill out your form and then start your journey with gwar.org /Nourish step. And thank you all for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I hope you send me your questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pam. That was so much fun and so
Yay.
much great information. I love that there are so many options that we have to incorporate more nutritious steps into our lives, like so many options. So we don't have to do it all. We can just
And you
choose any of
choose what
those
step you want to take. Yes.
Exactly. There's so many choices. So thank you so much for that. Lots of really great resources. So we will make sure everybody has access to those resources. And I believe we have a section even on the WeHa website that connects to Nourish Steps. So if you're not getting it directly, you can certainly go to the WeHa website under our nutrition and physical dimension and get some information that way as well. So thank you so much. I want to encourage you to check out the link that I put in the chat to ask Pam any questions. But before we do that, you can submit your questions to Pam's link. Or what I'd like to do is everyone has an opportunity today to fill out a survey, give us some feedback on how the presentation went today. And when you do that, you'll be entered in to receive a free WeHa t-shirt, our Age Well t-shirt, and they're really comfy and soft. So I'm just putting a plug in there. They're awesome t-shirts. So I am going to put in the chat this link for you to fill out that little quick survey. Let's see right here. There we go. So while you're filling out the survey to enter in to win the t-shirt, we will just open it up the last 5 minutes to, if anybody wants to type in the chat here, if you have any burning questions for Pam, we will entertain some questions, some basic questions in the last 5 minutes while you're filling out that survey. So you can type in the chat if you want to go off mute. If there's not a lot of people talking, you can ask a question that way too. So we'll just give you a few minutes to fill that survey out and enter any burning questions into the chat.
I don't have the link for the survey anymore. It's just the question and answer screen that's up.
Okay, so let's hope. Suzanne, if you want to go back to that one more slide. It's also in the chat if you can pull up the chat feature too. Either way, you can link to it both ways.
You.
Yep. Awesome. So we have a question about how do I get a copy of the slides? So this is going to be recorded. So on the WeHa website, underneath the Age Well series, there will be the live recording of this. And we can also link Pam's slides in that section as well. So I will type in the chat our website if you don't have it already. wihealthyaging.org. Does anybody have any questions for Pam while we have her live? I think all of us will be plenty busy checking out all of the awesome resources too. Looks like we have, oh, I thought somebody was raising their hand, but no. Helpful information, thank you. I agree, very helpful information. And I am in this world of health education and I love nutrition, but I always learn something new from Pam every time I hear from her. So I appreciate it. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go to the next slide. That talks a little bit about what's to come. If you like these Age Well series presentations, we do offer them. We very regularly will have them almost every single month. So if you're not already subscribed to our Age Well newsletter, please do that on the WeHa website. Looks like we've got another evaluation link here in the chat, as well as the website link. Lots of links for us to click on today. But we have a series coming up next month on November 11th from 12 to 1:30. And that is going to, the topic is going to be the power of connection. So we're going to talk about social connection because that week actually kickstarts Social Connection Awareness Week. So we encourage you to register for that webinar. We're going to talk a lot about what social connection means, what the impact of loneliness and isolation can have on our health and how they are connected, and really how we can take some simple steps to make sure that we are staying connected, because there's lots of different components of health and social connection is definitely one of them. So please go ahead and register for that. We will look forward to seeing you then. And also, again, encourage you to check out Pam's QR code and her link up in the chat if you have questions on nutrition related. Even after the presentation today, she's happy to collect those. So thank you everybody so much for joining us. Thank you again, Pam. Thanks to TMG for sponsoring us. And we look forward to seeing you next month. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.